We're fucking live.
Well, pre-recorded.
No, this is a live podcast. Listener, as you are listening to this is happening live. Every time you press play, me and Em have to run back to the recording studio.
I'd really appreciate it if you could pick whether you're going to listen to it or not. If you need to pause, that's fine. But I do have stuff to get to.
Yeah, just don't pause this for that long because it just gets really boring. And we never know when you're going to press play again.
And with that, welcome to Good Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Good Sports Podcast. All we ask is that you be a good sport. My name is Hayes. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a software engineer, I guess. It's seasonal depression time. Who are you, friend?
I'm Em, and oh my god, is it seasonal depression time. I'm a math master's student who's currently living in France, and the seasonal depression is seasonally depressing.
It's so dark outside, and I'm just like, will I ever see the sun again?
I can see the sun through your blinds.
You lived in Boston. You can't in person
Yeah.
understand how gray it is outside.
Oh, yeah.
The sky is basically slate gray, and there's like barely a little peak of sunshine.
The sun sets at like 4 p.m.
Yeah, I think the solstice is the 21st of December. Today
Correct.
is the last day of November for those listening to this. I would love to know when people are going to be listening to this many months from now. People listening to this, they're on their way to the beach.
Yep.
They're driving to the beach right now. It's 90 degrees.
Thinking back to their last seasonal depression and or dreading their next seasonal depression.
It's always coming back. And maybe I'm getting old because I'm starting to understand why people retire to Florida. Not to Florida specifically, but to a warm climate. Now, Florida is a bad choice because of the constant natural disasters.
And the Ron DeSantis.
And the DeSantis of it all. I would retire somewhere warm and dry that has less hurricanes, flooding, and general fuckery.
Yeah, like a nice Arizona.
See, then you start to understand Arizona because there's a lot of old farts there. It's like the Florida of the West. You heard it here, folks. Arizona, the Florida of the West.
I feel like that's more Nevada because it's got Vegas.
Well, I don't know if you know, but Arizona is like very full of rich Republicans who have all retired there.
I do know this.
Kind of like Florida.
I do know this.
But Nevada is also pretty conservative as well, believe it or
Yes.
not, because the suburbs outside of Vegas are different from actual Vegas itself.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
I've never been to Vegas, but I really want to. And I'm not really into gambling. Let me rephrase that. I choose not to gamble because I know that if I did, it would become a huge problem.
I've never done any gambling. My opinion is if I gamble once, I need it to go badly. Because if I gamble once and it goes quote unquote well for me, my life will be Jover.
Yeah, that's going to be it. I mean, at least your financial life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've built a society where you need your money in order to have the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, unless we have some pretty radical changes here, which I don't really see happening. I grieved single-payer healthcare recently. I was like, it's never going to happen. Stop thinking it's going to happen. It's over. It's just not going to happen, I think, in America. Other countries already have it. I'm like, if you don't have single-payer healthcare by now and your country has the resources to do so, I don't know if it's going to happen. It's like flying cars. I don't know if you had this experience. As a kid, I was like, whoa, by 2020, we'll definitely have flying cars. And, you know, there's just no reason for cars to stay on the ground. Like, we're going to have flying cars. It will be in my lifetime. And then now I'm like, no, that's stupid. It's never going to happen. It's like they're not going to put the resources into that. And that's how I feel about single payer healthcare.
But the difference is, as a society, as a like human global situation, we know how to do single payer healthcare.
Yeah, we know how to do flying cars too. It's called a private jet. And there's a reason that we don't have flying cars.
I don't know that I would call that a flying car, because part of what makes cars so convenient is that like you can take them for trips that are like a mile.
What if they were flying? Wouldn't that be cool?
But like that's not the thing I'm pushing back on.
I'm not saying that single payer healthcare is exactly like flying cars in every way. What I'm saying is, as a child, both were things I fantasized about, and I was like, surely we'll have this by the time I'm an adult.
As a child, you were flipping through a chapter book about the exotic lands of Europe and being like, when I'm an adult, the government will pay for my health care.
I mean, you say this jokingly, but like, kind of, yeah. Like, I was a fucking communist as a child.
Oh, me too.
I was like, I just don't understand why people don't just share everything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of similar with flying cars, where I was like, I just don't understand why the cars aren't flying. It's like, I get why there aren't flying cars. It's not practical. It's way more expensive. You know, single payer healthcare, it is way less expensive.
And more practical, yeah.
But I guess what I'm getting at is they're both equally as fantastical to happen in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, my take is, this is something I go back and forth on how much I believe, but this is something I've said often, is that I'm afraid that Joe Biden is going to be the farthest left president of the United States we have in our lifetime.
Here's my question. Do you think Joe Biden was further left than Obama?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. I don't really know. I was a child.
I mean, I was too.
You were a younger child.
The left-right dynamic is inherently reductive and dependent on the time context. But, like, in an absolute way, like, the first time Obama ran for president, he was not in favor of gay marriage.
Well, I'm going to push back against that. I don't think that he was against gay marriage.
His platform did not include support of gay marriage.
But I believe it was in his first term he repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Yes.
Which is a huge, almost an even bigger lift than gay marriage at the time. I mean, that was very controversial. And especially you have to realize we were coming out of Bush, which... And I act like I wasn't politically aware at the time. I was very annoying. I watched Rachel Maddow every day.
That checks out.
And I sent her fan mail. And
do you still have access to this fan mail? Can we do a dramatic reading of your childhood fan mail to Rachel Maddow?
It's from an email address that I don't have access to. I believe it's a Hotmail.
Ah, damn.
So, probably not. I could try to find it, but that's far from the cringiest thing that I did at that age.
I'm sure, but it does have a certain je ne sais quoi. The goal is not necessarily cringe, because, like, I have a plethora of cringy things, but none of them would be all that interesting to hear about, because there's similar ways to which I'm cringy now, in which all, like, kids and teens are cringy.
Yeah, I don't remember what I put into the letter, but I feel like I mentioned that she was the first openly gay Rhodes Scholar, and I don't know why I included that in a letter to her, as if
she doesn't know.
I'm, like, citing her accomplishments in my letter to her. I think I was like, as the first gay Rhodes Scholar, I'm sure you understand.
Slay. That's iconic of you.
I was like, she's my soulmate. We're going to be together. I just know it. I think at the time, what was it, 2008? I was in 7th or 8th grade, and she was like a mid-30-year-old woman who was married. But in my mind, I was like, well, we're soulmates. And she was the first gay Rhodes Scholar.
You have so much in common.
Yeah. I mean, I was gay and I guess a scholar, if by scholar...
Do you mean middle schooler?
Getting a solid D+ in pre-algebra. Anyway, I heard you had some exams this past week.
Yes, so we didn't record last weekend. The week before, I actually had my hour-long presentation.
Oh yeah, how did your presentation go?
I think it went well, exclusively because the evening before it happened, I locked myself in a classroom and did the entire presentation to no one.
Hell yeah.
I took notes about what words I didn't know, what phrases didn't work, and so when I presented the next day, I had already run into every conceivable issue.
So it wasn't even really the math that you really needed help with, it was just the language part of it.
Yeah, because going up and talking for 5 minutes about the solution to a problem you cooked up, and going up and talking for an hour about a subject that you're, like, teaching other people about is a big difference.
Yeah.
And also, I'd made myself some notes, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna follow the notes. The notes included a lot of diagrams, and something I didn't account for until I practiced is it's kind of awkward if you just, like, draw a diagram for 3 minutes without saying anything.
Just silent.
And your back is turned toward the class, and all they can hear is the squeak of the chalk.
So wait, you have actual chalkboards, not whiteboards?
Mathematicians are freaks about chalk. This is like a known thing.
Oh, why?
So there's this really nice chalk. I forget what it's called.
Oh, is this a Japanese chalk?
Yes.
I've heard of the chalk.
And in general, though, they're less finicky than whiteboards. And with whiteboards, you need to make sure your marker works. The glare can be annoying.
Yeah.
People keep dead markers around a lot versus like if you're holding chalk in your hand,
you know it will work. Yeah. And for the most part, it will be visible and high contrast, whereas a lot of dry erase markers instantly become like weak and dry.
Yes.
What a waste.
They have colored chalk, and it's easier to see the colored chalk than it is to see the colored whiteboard markers.
It's interesting that you bring that up. Well, I'll get more into this when I do my catching up, but I recently started volunteering at an adult education center near my house to teach math.
Oh, nice.
And they have whiteboards, and they also have a smart board, which I learned is just a projector. And so I'm like, well, why don't you just call it a projector?
Does it respond to the pressure? Is it a board you can interface with? Because they have smart boards that you can like use the pen and it'll like click on the computer and stuff.
Yes, I believe it does function as like a weird touch screen, but all the teachers just use it as a projector. Mm-hmm. So it seems like a big waste of money because then you could just use a projector. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely made me be like, oh, I have to go buy actually good markers because every single marker in this building is trash. You just write on the board and it looks like you didn't make a mark at all. And it's like, yeah, chalk is probably way better.
The downside is if you're not habituated to writing with chalk, then you do be squeaking so much.
Ugh, just a shiver went up my spine.
Most of the people in my class have been using chalkboards, and all the professors have been writing with chalk. But every so often, someone will make a mistake, and it'll just wake everyone up.
But whiteboards be squeaking too.
This is true.
I think no matter how good you are at a whiteboard, it will squeak. Mm-hmm. Whereas a chalkboard, I think you can avoid most of the squeaking.
The main benefit of whiteboard over chalkboard is that once you finish writing on a chalkboard, your whole hand and your pants and sometimes your other hand and your face, unsure how.
Covered in chalk. Just like a dust that you're just breathing into your lungs. Is there not something called chalk lung?
I think so.
Yeah. And are the chalkboards green or black?
They're black. There are a couple that are green, but they're mostly black.
I don't know why they make green chalkboards. I find it stupid. I never liked them. Mm-hmm. I feel like the black boards really have the highest contrast.
I agree.
But anyway, so you had your presentation.
Yep.
And you killed it, knocked it out of the park, as I suspected.
I hope so. I haven't gotten the grade yet, but...
Well, in France... Isn't it just like if you get over 40%, you get an A or something?
50% is pass.
I mean, that's pretty generous compared to the US, where anything under 70 is a fail.
He's waiting to give out grades because he's scaling the grades based on how everyone else's presentations go.
That's kind of weird.
I think it's so that he can be fair in his assessment, because a lot of the time, if there's a really good presentation after a really bad presentation, it's like...
So he's kind of weighting everyone.
He's edging everyone, yeah.
Yeah, Professor Gooner is edging all of us. I think you'll do well. You're crushing it.
And then I had some exams that did not go as well.
Oh, no.
We persevere.
Written exam?
Yeah, so one of them was, the professor was like, it'll be like the homework. And it was in fact not like the homework.
When is it ever like the homework, though?
Every other test I've taken since arriving here, excluding those from one specific professor, have been, on average, like the homework.
But not this time.
No. He was like, it'll be like the homework. The homework was 25 questions. Of the 9 exam questions, 3 of them were based on one of the homework problems.
Wow.
Which I guess is technically like the homework.
I mean, it's from the homework.
3 of them based on 4% of the homework.
The other 6 were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, kind of. Like, half the homework was about matrices. There were no matrix questions on the test.
What the hell? Straight up no.
Straight up lies. Of the 9 questions that we had 2 hours to do, I made it through 3.
Wow.
And I made it halfway through another 3. And so if everything I wrote down got full points, I would get a 10 out of 20 and just barely pass.
Wow. I wonder if you were the only one with that experience, because I would guess not. Have you thought of unionizing as a class?
It's possible that he's like, what do you mean you all feel like you did bad? I thought you would all know that I'm just dropping your 4 worst questions or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe he's grading to a curve.
He's new here, so we can't talk to people who had him last year.
Oh.
So we can't be like, is he normal or is there something wrong with him?
This is your first exam from this evil professor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like an asshole.
The same field as my last evil professor. Analysis professors deserve the chair.
Wow. Now I need to know more. Do you think there's something specific about the field of mathematical analysis?
Maybe I'm just bad at it, but my opinion is that analysis exams are games of luck. So most of the time when you're taking a math test, you can look at a problem and there's like perhaps 3 different ways you can go to solve it. And most of the time, in most fields, 2 of the 3 ways will help you make progress. On analysis, only one of them is worth doing. Anything else, completely unuseful. And the only way to figure out whether or not it's useful is to work through it. And so, in a time test environment, the professor knows how to solve all the questions. And so you get them writing tests that are like, yeah, you just pick the right approach, and then it's done.
Oh, fun.
But there's not enough time to recover from picking the wrong approach.
I see what you mean about like a game of chance. Like if you pick the right one the first time, it's gonna take so much less time to solve each problem than if you pick wrong every time. And there's no way to, like, definitively tell.
I mean, I'm sure there is, but...
But he hasn't taught it to you.
Yeah. The amount of intuition it requires is not ever anything I have been able to pick up.
Some esoteric math.
Yeah. My worst ever grade in my entire life was a 32% on my first ever analysis test.
Wow. And this is why I think people have a misconception about learning math, where they think that people like you and I, or people like you, because you're doing masters, they think we're like geniuses who just look at a math problem and just instantly figure it out. And the reality is a lot closer to, I'm not really sure what the fuck I'm doing for most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna fail a bunch of exams. Especially once you get into like quote unquote higher, more difficult math, I feel like the less people there are who know fully what they're doing or what's going on at all time.
Yeah.
And that's normal. So did you literally do anything for Thanksgiving? Video call your fam or...
I mean, I took my analysis test.
Oh, okay.
Part of me was like, I wonder if I could just be like, hi, this is a religious holiday for me.
Yeah, so in America, Thanksgiving, it's like a sacred or religious experience. We commune with God.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
See what they say.
And then after my exam, I went to the grocery store, got a bottle of wine and some cookies, went home, drank half a bottle of wine, and ate a bunch of cookies, and then went to sleep.
You're like a middle-aged woman in like the late 90s. You're like, I'm just gonna get a pint of ice cream and a bottle of red wine. What is this, Sex in the City?
Well, I just probably failed an exam, and my entire family is celebrating a holiday, and also all of my friends are in town and hanging out, and I'm not.
Oh, that sucks. I hope you weren't on Instagram.
Oh no, I'm on Discord where they were like, okay, I'm picking you up at this time at so-and-so.
And you were like, no one's picking me up because I'm in France.
Yeah, but I had Friday off, just didn't have any classes, so being hungover was not an academic issue.
Well, if Thanksgiving is a religious holiday, Black Friday is also a religious holiday, which for some reason I got Black Friday as a paid holiday this year.
Okay.
Which is weird because Memorial Day, no. Veterans Day, no. Indigenous Peoples Day, no. Juneteenth, also no. But Black Friday? Oh, we recognize that holiday. It's just weird. I mean, I'm not going to complain about a day off, but I'm just like, it's so funny how you recognize Black Friday, but not Juneteenth, which is the actual Black holiday. It's like, hello? Maybe they got confused and they were like, what's that Black holiday?
Black Friday.
Oh, we're so woke. And then they just gave us Black Friday off and then they never gave us Juneteenth off. I'm going to choose to believe it was a mistake and not because my job sucks.
That's wild.
I know.
I know a lot of places do the Friday off because so many people travel on it.
Yeah, it's just weird because, like, people could use their PTO for that. Anyway, how's it been with making friends there? Are they still roasting you for barely being able to speak French, or are they letting up on you a little bit?
I mean, my French has gotten better.
Of course.
I have about 20 hours a week of lecture where I'm just sitting there absorbing French. So I can talk about math until the cows come home. And then someone asks me, what did you do this weekend? And I go, homework.
You're like sweating profusely.
No, literally.
Oh my god. I can see the fear in your eyes.
Or like, oh, how do you think the test went? And I'll be like, so I said this, and this. But in terms of actual feeling though, it's
Yeah. So, okay, I'm planning a trip to Japan.
Okay.
It's like a year from now.
Okay.
But I'm excited. Me and my girlfriend Eve are going to go to Japan next year between Christmas and New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to try to save up my PTO and take like 2 weeks off, do like a 2-week trip, because I don't think a week is going to be enough.
With that kind of intense jet lag, you really want to go for longer than a week.
I think I'm also going to have to take the trip in stages,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I'll be able to take a direct flight because that is just too long.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
So we'll probably need to like go to California, maybe spend like a full day there, then go from Cali to Japan, or maybe even another intermediary. I don't even know what that would be.
I was going to say, rather famously, there's an ocean.
There is an ocean. Well, I just want to see how long each flight leg would be. Okay, let's see. So from here to Japan is 14 hours and 10 minutes. Not a lot in between the two. So I would probably go from somewhere on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to start learning Japanese. She already knows Japanese. She's not like fluent in it, but she's Chinese, so she can read some of the characters and understand some Japanese. Definitely more than I do. So that's exciting. And then for February, I'm going to Dollywood.
Okay. Have you ever been before?
No.
Oh, really?
I don't even think I've been to Tennessee before. I'm pretty stoked. I'm going to rent one of those mobility scooters so I can just motor around without having to constantly look for a place to sit. And I think it'll be pretty dead. February is not really the season, I think, that people go to amusement parks.
Slay.
I'm pretty stoked for that. And yeah, we had Thanksgiving. I went to my ex-family's house in Connecticut.
Okay.
So that was interesting.
What motivated this? I mean, I know you're still, like, close.
Yeah, we're still close. Mom was here and visiting like last month, and she was like, oh, come on, aren't you gonna come to Thanksgiving? Like, we're gonna miss you. And I was like, okay, girl, you're right. And also, Mom is an amazing cook, so I was like, oh, the food's gonna be really good. And it was. And we weren't having turkey at my place this year because our oven has been malfunctioning. Like, we have an internal oven sensor we got, and the temperature's off by like 100 degrees.
Not what you want for turkey.
Nope. So we had them come and replace the sensor, and it is a little better. Now it's only off by 50 degrees. So that's still bad.
Yeah.
And we also have like a bunch of hot spots. I believe the whole oven needs to be replaced, or they can replace every single heating element, because we'll put stuff in and like there'll be a splotch where it's just burned and the rest of it is cooked normally. Yeah, for a turkey, that's bad. So we did a ham and it came out great because it was just pre-cooked. You just have to heat it up. But no, we had 10 people RSVP and we had 4 people come.
Okay.
So that was fun. All that extra food that we purchased.
See, that is one of the things I do miss about Thanksgiving.
The ghosting.
No, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, you've figured out what you're going to eat for the entire first half of December. You're going to be housing leftovers, including leftovers that you bought because you thought more people were going to come than actually did. And so you didn't even cook them.
Literally, I have food that never even made it into the oven to be cooked because so many people canceled. I have like 4 extra cans of cranberry sauce. I have enough ingredients to make an additional 2 pumpkin pies. And it's just like, well, I guess we're just going to be eating pumpkin pie a lot.
Ooh, I should make pumpkin pie. Oh, I don't have an oven.
You don't have an oven?
No, I have 2 stove burners, a tiny sink, and a microwave. And that's my kitchen. Oh, and a mini fridge.
Ooh. You could make pumpkin pie in the microwave. Do a mug recipe.
So the problem is, I can't buy a can of pumpkin puree, so I would have to start from the pumpkin.
It's not that hard. Just take a pumpkin and put it in the oven and then scrape out the orange part. And that's pumpkin puree.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait. You don't have an oven? You literally just said you don't have an oven.
The image I have in my head is just an entire pumpkin directly in the microwave, just watching it spin around, stem and all.
I think it would explode. I don't have scientific evidence.
No, I'd poke holes in it.
You can bake a potato in the microwave, so you could probably do a small pumpkin. But I think it would be funny.
Patreon bonus is the YouTube video of my pumpkin in the microwave just spinning.
It's like a 24-hour live feed of the shit that you're microwaving.
Recently it's been a lot of soup.
You seem like someone who would eat soup a lot. Like as your main food. You know, you don't seem like a steak kind of guy. No offense.
I mean, I'm a vegetarian.
Of course you are. All these liberal they-thems and their vegetarianism. So woke of you.
Yeah, a hippie tree hugger, not a liberal, not a they-them.
So noble of you. Thank you for single-handedly stopping climate change with your choices.
I also don't like meat anyway.
Why don't you just say you don't like meat?
Because then people are like, oh, you haven't had good steak.
Oh, then they start being like, oh, well, you have to try my steak.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, I don't like meat. I'm not going to like that. Yeah. What is the fascination with when you say, I don't like this certain particular genre of food, and instead of just accepting it, people have to be like, well, you haven't tried my way of making it, and then you try it, and it's exactly like every other way of making it.
And it's like, I did eat chicken for the first 15 years of my life. I've had most ways chicken can be prepared.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you think this guy hasn't had chicken before?
I don't think I've ever had steak, but I'm like not interested.
If you don't like meat, you're not going to like it.
I like fish, but...
Fish is not meat. It's its own thing. Just from my perspective, fish is kind of a slightly different category than most meat.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I understand it's technically animal flesh, but a lot of religions, too, don't really see fish as meat. And I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Fish is great. And there's fish that can be fished very sustainably.
I also, like, live near the water. I've lived near water most of my life.
It's not getting shipped to you. Have you heard of this giant buffet in Dedham where they have unlimited crab legs?
I've not. That sounds like it might get added to my list when I go back to Boston.
Well, be prepared to wait because there's a line that is outside and you have to wait at least 45 minutes and there's nowhere to sit. But they will do the thing where you put down your number and they call you so you can go wait in the parking lot. But you go in, it's basically the huge warehouse. It's the size of an airplane hangar and half of it is taken up by tables and every single one of them is filled.
Yep.
And then the other half is this extremely well lit and fancy buffet that has sushi that's being made right in front of you. There's crab legs, there's oysters. There is a limit of 4 oysters per person, but they're not counting. They have prime rib. They have pork belly. It's like kind of the nicest buffet I've ever been to. And they have a 2-hour eating limit, which I think is very generous for a buffet with a 45-minute waiting time.
Yeah.
And something I don't like about this place is if it's your birthday and they find out, there's this really, really, really blaring loud birthday song that they blast.
Oh, no.
To everyone. It's really annoying.
I don't understand the cultural fixation on strangers' birthdays.
Oh, just like with birthdays in general?
No, just like when it's my birthday, it's not any stranger's business.
I don't need outsiders that I don't know to know it's my birthday. Like, I'm not wearing birthday girl sash.
Yeah, exactly. If you're 7, this is probably the 6th most exciting day of your entire life. But we're big boys and girls and theys, and let's use some critical thinking.
But also, why don't you use some critical thinking? Because people like attention.
They sure do.
And on one point, who is it harming?
Me.
It's harming you that other people want attention.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know the correct way to give it to them.
I believe it's happy birthday is the phrase.
You know what I mean.
If you saw someone walking down the road with a sash that said, birthday girl,
I would cross the street.
Okay, so sounds like it's not a problem then. Just not for you.
But if I'm in a restaurant and if everyone's expected to stop what they're doing and participate in the loud sound that's happening, that does harm me.
Yeah, I hate that. I think a lot of people also hate that because if I'm getting attention at a restaurant from other people, I want it to be because I'm engaging in some kind of eating-based challenge. The world's largest bowl of chowder. Can he eat it? You know, like you have 30 minutes to eat the world's largest lobster or something. I would want attention for something I'm actually doing. I've been reading a lot of sports-based romance books recently, and it's making me think I should become an athlete.
Okay.
But because I have a disability, I'm pretty limited in what I can do. So I was like, what if I get into competitive eating? Because it doesn't require me to use my legs at all.
Yeah.
And I could do professional video game playing, but my girlfriend is a award-winning video game player, and I've been schooled so many times that I just don't think I have what it takes.
So you're like, I could be a professional gamer, except I'm bad.
Except I'm not good enough.
So what I'm actually hearing is, no, you could not be a professional gamer.
So I used to think I might be able to. I used to think, like, I'm pretty good at games. Like, I'm sure if I put in the hours, if I put in the time and the effort, like, I'm sure I could get to a professional level. Like, I had this hubris where I really thought. And then I started dating an actually, like, ranked video game gamer. And I realized what a fool I've been.
The gamer GF, is that the same as the GF you're going to Japan with?
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
It's just such a stereotype.
Our relationship is very stereotypical. She looks like she could crush me. It's kind of like when you see a supermodel and then her boyfriend is kind of just like the schlubby older guy. I'm the schlubby older guy, and I'm fine with it.
Have you ever heard of Connecticut Clark?
No.
It's this comic strip. Wait, let me pull it up and send it to you. Audience, you should pull it up and look at it. It's this comic strip. Well, there's several versions of it. It was jointly created by a bunch of people on Reddit, and it's Connecticut Clark. So Clark is created as just like a basically nothing interesting is going on with him. He's from Connecticut. He doesn't have an overdramatic backstory, etc. And he's drawn in a very simplistic style. But then in the second one, there's Malafina, the demon witch, who's drawn in a very, like, more detailed style. And eventually they, like, get engaged. And this is, again, compared to Clark, who's drawn on, like, a trackpad in MS Paint. I didn't do a great job explaining that. Audience, this is your call. Look up Connecticut Clark.
That's kind of how I feel. I'm 4 lines drawn with a mouse and MS Paint. That's really what this is. And then she's like an epic gamer who is multilingual, like is really smart and cool. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm also here, you know? And I feel like no one gets it, including me. But she's cool as hell, though. She's way too cool for me. She, like, has a leather jacket.
You can own a leather jacket. You can make this happen.
No. I can't pull it off. I'm too soft for that. I'm way too soft and squishy for a leather jacket. Doesn't look sharp on me. I'm like hoodies and sweatpants. But anyway, yes, this is the same girlfriend that I'm planning the trip to Japan with. Deal with it. And we just started watching Has Been Hotel.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, of course I've heard of it.
And of course I'm obsessed with it.
Sure. Okay.
So that's how my life is going. My other girlfriend, I recently met her husband for the first time. I went over to their house for dinner, and he spent maybe like a combined 5 minutes in my presence.
Okay.
And then he kept leaving the room to go game, and then he would come back clearly in between rounds of his gaming. Be like, hey, what's up, babe? Then he would go back into his gamer cave.
See, this is why you can't be the gamer in the relationship.
No, I can't. And I do like video games, but I feel like in my relationship, I am not the gamer one. She is the gamer one.
Yeah.
We play games together, but she actually plays games. I'm just like, dressing up my sim. Now I'm planting a garden.
Yeah.
That's my level of gaming. Nothing will put you in your place like having an award-winning gamer girlfriend. But she is introducing me to a lot of new games. I started playing this new game called Ball Pit.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
I have not.
You know the game Breakout where you have like a paddle board that you control that goes back and forth?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that, but with demons.
Okay.
And power-ups. Google Ball X Pit.
Okay.
Do it. I can tell you're not doing it.
I'm doing it. Let me pull up my phone.
You see how it's kind of interesting art style?
Oh, I see. I understand.
So I've been obsessed with that. Of course, she introduced me to that. Mm-hmm. That's why I was 10 minutes late to record this. It's because I was playing Ball Pit.
I've been doing a lot of board games online recently.
Oh, really?
But I recently got back into The Binding of Isaac, which has, at 4 different points, completely ruined my life.
Wow. I think it's a video game, but...
It is a video game.
Okay. I don't know anything about it.
It's one of the, like, top 5, arguably top 3 definitive roguelikes. And the roguelike video game format is a problem for me.
So, you know Balatro, right?
I've spoken on this very podcast about how Balatro also ruined my life, and I didn't sleep for 72 hours.
So I'm looking at Binding of Isaac, because now I'm like, well, now I have to play this. 2011?
Yep.
Wow.
And it's been receiving pretty much continual updates since then.
Wow.
And it's a big game. There's like 5 endgame bosses and 24 characters. And there's different items you unlock for each character defeating each boss. and I only have 2 characters left. And I've been playing this game for 5 years, and I'm not very good at it.
That's so funny. So is this like a bullet hell type of thing?
It's closer to like original Zelda games.
Oh.
Like there are some bullet hell enemies and bosses, but the challenge comes from just how many rooms there are and resource management. No individual enemy is that hard. Each floor you get an item, there's a bunch of enemies, there's rooms, etc. And you're managing different resources over this like process of several rooms, and then you move on to the next floor.
So the reason this is related to board games is it a board game?
No. So I was playing a lot of board games, but now I've transitioned back into the Binding of Isaac.
Okay, gotcha. So instead of spending time with real people in person...
Nope. Was playing board games online, alone in my apartment. I'll stop you right there.
Oh my god, what a sad sack, no offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I imagine it's hard to play board games with French people.
I know at this point I either know most board games or I can pick up the rules pretty quickly because I know so many board games. I know most of the popular ones for sure. And so, like, the problem isn't the rules or anything.
Yeah.
The problem is finding people, because you have to already know people you're going to be playing board games with, or there has to be an event.
Are board games less popular in France, or...?
They're still pretty popular. There's a bunch of board game cafes in the city.
Oh, wow. Go out, socialize, make some lifelong friends. Or you could just be alone in your apartment.
In order to be playing board games with friends at board game cafes, it's a bring your own friends situation.
Oh, okay. The board game cafes near me, there's a few, and they have mixer nights.
No, these ones are popular enough they don't need any gimmicks to get people in the door.
Wow, that's cool. I tried this disgusting broccoli pizza the other day. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's connected to like a quote-unquote board game cafe that just like sits empty 99% of the time, and I don't know what the point of it is. It's just kind of like sitting there taking up space, and which is crazy. But attached to it is this place called...
I'm familiar.
And I heard that they had this like, oh my god, you have to go try this broccoli pizza, it's amazing. And they sell pizza by the slice. So I was like, oh fuck, a place that sells pizza by the slice near my house? This is awesome. And no, it was pretty bad. 1 out of 5.
Oh wow, quite bad.
I think a 2 would be like passable. 1 is like, don't recommend. 0 is I was poisoned.
Okay.
1 is like, it's edible. It won't poison you, but it was really bad. And then I had the maple bacon cheddar pizza. I would give that like a 1.7 out of 5. It was also pretty damn bad. It was rough and it was bitter.
It's broccoli. Of course it's going to be bitter.
Well, you can have not bitter broccoli. I don't know. I don't feel like broccoli is usually bitter if cooked correctly.
I guess I eat a lot of raw broccoli.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is broccoli on pizza, I feel like you can't just take raw broccoli and then blast it in 500-degree oven because it doesn't cook it properly.
I'm making eye contact with a very silly prop to have for a food review segment, which is a 2-kilogram bag of apples, which I got for €2.
That's a lot of apples to get for €2, which that's what, $10? That's pretty damn good.
So I'm going to be eating apples for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that reminds me. I was looking into getting a new mattress because the mattress I bought a few months ago is defective and the springs were starting to jab me.
Oh no.
Even though I've had it for less than 6 months, so that's cute. And I was talking to my best friend and she's like, well, you should get a purple mattress because this is going to last me the rest of my life. The mattress I bought. And I was like, how long are you planning to live?
What is a purple mattress?
One of those online mattress.
Okay, sure.
That are like, it's super durable, but I'm like, even the most durable mattress you could buy won't last you your whole life.
It doesn't matter how durable it is. You want to be swapping that out because of all of the mold and moisture.
That's what I tried to say. I'm like, it doesn't matter how durable it is. Eventually, it's going to be full of your skin mites. That's why old mattresses are so heavy, is because they're full of dead skin cells from you that you're shedding. And I'm just like, you need to replace it at least every 10 years. And that's the maximum time I would even stretch it, because it doesn't matter if you even have a mattress protector. It's going to eventually get filled up with your dead skin. And she's like, oh, well, they just said it was so durable. I just assumed I would never have to replace it. And I'm like, what? Why would you think that? It's like they never claimed it anywhere. She just assumed she would never have to replace it until she died. And I don't know why she thought that.
She just invented an absurd marketing claim.
And then I was like, are they telling people, like, is Purple telling people that, like, their mattresses last forever? No, I couldn't find that anywhere. No one has ever said that. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, they say, oh, this is a really good mattress. It's a really high quality mattress. But, like, nowhere in their marketing does it say this mattress will last 50 years.
That's always one of the things when people say stuff like that. Because, like, how long are you planning on living?
Yeah, I'm like, well, now I'm concerned. And she's already had the thing 3 years. So I'm like, okay, well, you have 7 years tops out of this thing, additional. That was the most out-of-pocket thing she said in a while. It's almost as bad as when she first moved to Boston from Florida, and we were looking at getting an apartment together. And she comes up to me, and she's like, look, Hayes, I've been thinking this through, and, you know, when we get our apartment, I want the master bedroom with the ensuite bathroom and the walk-in closet. You know, I really think I deserve that. I'll pay more, but I want the master bedroom. And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? This is Boston. We're both going to be living in a shack. There is no master bedroom. There is no ensuite bathroom. In Florida, it's normal. If there's a 2-bedroom apartment, one of them is the quote-unquote master bedroom, and it has an ensuite and a walk-in closet. That's normal. Here, no.
In Boston, it's like you each get your own 4 square foot little hovel and you're all sharing one bathroom.
Yeah. And it has like no heat. And then you share a bathroom with like 10 other roommates. She had to adjust her expectations. And I was like, listen, if we find a place with an ensuite bathroom that is in our budget, you are more than welcome to have it. There's no way we're gonna find that.
Yeah.
And we didn't. She ended up moving to like a studio apartment, and at that point I went to Hampshire. But now we're living together again. And you know what's funny is she actually does have an ensuite bathroom.
Oh, wow.
But she has to share it with me and her other partner, so.
I feel like I would rather not have an ensuite if I have to share the ensuite. Like, that feels worse than just having a communal bathroom.
I know. I think that's why we got such a good deal on our house.
Is it built all sort of fucked up?
It's fucked up. It's like a 3-story place. The first floor is its own apartment. Mm-hmm. We have the second and third floor. So the second floor, which is the first floor of our place, has 1 bathroom and 3 bedrooms.
Okay.
So that's fine. And then the top floor has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, but it's an ensuite.
Got it.
So you can start to see the issue for a lot of roommate groups. That wouldn't really work out.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-bedroom place. It's like you don't want to share the ensuite. So I shower up in her ensuite because it's a walk-in shower, whereas the shower down here is like this huge clawfoot tub.
Got it.
And that's just not doable for me because like I have a shower chair and everything. My shower chair won't fit in there. And then she also shares the upstairs bathroom with her partner who lives up there in the other bedroom. So I feel like in a normal roommate situation that wouldn't really work.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a couple or something living upstairs. It's just so funny because I'm still thinking this place is too good to be true because it's just so nice. We have like a fenced-in backyard. Oh, speaking of a fenced-in backyard, I'm thinking of getting a dog.
Yeah? What kind of dog?
I think I'm going to get a dachshund.
Okay.
My family growing up had several dogs, and a couple of them were dachshunds, and they're just little.
Yeah.
And they don't need as much exercise. They're not as high energy as some other dog breeds.
Not to name names.
Not to name names. Corgi. I was looking at corgis because I was like, oh, they're so cute, but they just are really high energy.
Yes.
And I just need kind of a lap dog. But I had one friend be like, oh, well, I'm concerned about you getting a dog. And I'm like, what? And he was like, oh, well, just knowing how hard it is for you to walk. And I'm like, you don't think that I've factored that in to the plan?
Yeah.
And it's also just like disabled people can have pets.
Yeah.
And I also have like so many people in my life who have offered to walk this dog before I even got the dog. And I would be putting money aside specifically for a dog walking service to come multiple times a week to walk the dog when I can't. So I don't know. I just feel like I've heard this narrative of like, oh, well, you should only be able to have a pet if you're financially stable and you're perfectly able-bodied and you can send the dog to Montessori school and brush its teeth every day. And that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on pet ownership?
I never want to have a dog. Never, ever, ever.
You hate fun.
My family had dogs when I was a kid, And it seems too complicated. My mental health is also not to the point where I think I could deal with the energy of a dog, even a very low energy dog.
Yeah, and some people it helps their mental health, and other people it's like, oh, this is more of a burden.
Because I think kind of with all pets, but I think with dogs in particular, is like they will have a need right now that you have to handle.
Yeah.
And I just can't do that.
And I think for some people that's motivating because they're like, that gives me a reason, that gives me something to care about. It's kind of a way to do self-care because it forces you to. And some people, that's what they need. And I think for me, I also see my cat as sometimes just needing a little more stimulation, a little more company than I can give her. And I don't want to get another cat because that would just be too much litter that I don't want to scoop. And I think also having a fenced-in yard helps.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm like, if I'm too weak to take the dog for a long walk, I can go and play fetch in the backyard and let it run around.
I mean, I would love a cat.
Yeah, because cats kind of take care of themselves. Well, you have to feed the cat.
You have to feed the cat, but like they make automatic feeders for that.
And they also make automatic feeders for dogs.
Yeah.
The issue with dogs is they have to go to the bathroom outside. So that's something that I'll have to really think about because there are days that it's really hard for me to go up and down the stairs. So in order to let the dog into the backyard, I would have to climb down and then back up a flight of stairs. And would I have someone here to help me?
Speaking of dogs and stairs, have you seen those gifs of corgis going down the stairs? Because they're so small, they can't like do the steps. They kind of have to jump down every single step, and they do it so rhythmically.
They're so cute. I was really on the fence with the corgi. Oh, they're so cute though. I love how fluffy their butts are. Well, I think I need to wrap it up here. I have a lot to do today, and by a lot, I mean absolutely nothing except playing ball pit.
I see.
Well, it was nice talking to you guys. Shout out to Boston Public Libraries.
Shout out to apples. These apples are pretty small. I can fit a whole one in my mouth. Makes me think about a horse. Horses' mouths. Anti-shout out to the way horses are.
Anti-shout out to horses in general. We should just let them all free. Why do we even still have them as domesticated animals?
Do you know about horse blood types?
What? No. Why would I know that?
So humans have the 4 A, B, and O, and then there's some rare ones. Horse blood types, there's so many, and they're all based on like the type of proteins around your blood cells or whatever, and there's so many of them that you can like use them to determine the genealogy of the horse.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
The white blood cells aren't as aggressive when it comes to blood transfusions, which is good for the horses, like compared to people.
But could I get blood from a horse?
No.
Okay, well then that information is useless to me. Thanks, Em.
Like, maybe you could, but that's the start of a horror movie.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, everybody, and we will catch you next week. Hopefully, we will be dealing with our depression a little more.
Bye!
Good Sports Podcast, where everything is gonna be alright. Thank you for listening to Good Sports Podcast. I've been Hayes.
And I've been Em, and this has continued to not be a sports podcast. Remember to follow us on Tumblr at goodsportspodcast.tumblr.com.
Our asks are open, so drop your opinions, and you may be featured on a future episode.
Our podcast art was done by Ellis. You can follow them on Instagram at digitalfuture.cat.
Love us, hate us, let us know by leaving a review and rating us 5 stars on your podcast app of choice.
And remember to always be a good sport.